Welcome to Wheels and Watches DIY. We are continuing with the disassembly of the Raketa 2609HA. So here you can see me taking out the mainspring out of the mainspring barrel. I used the back of my tweezers to push on the arbor to pop the lid right open. Took the spring out, laid it flat to make sure it's good. And now I'm using watchmaker's paper and some IPA to clean the mainspring. I run it through many times until I see the paper is clear. Spoiler alert, I did manage to break the mainspring, specifically the little piece where it hooks to the arbor, so I had to get another mainspring from a donor movement in order to proceed with the project, but that's okay. I also used my vintage mainspring winder to wind the spring, and it worked pretty good except for today. The tricky part will be when taking that little top that moves that spring in a circular motion that winds it, taking that out without popping the whole spring out of the winder. So I'm using an X-Acto knife in this case to pop that little top open. Right now you can see me putting some grease into the barrel. The barrel has been previously cleaned, but essentially you wind the mainspring, and then once it's done, you pop it into the barrel, close the lid, and you make sure that it's closed nice and tight. And this is where the trouble begins. So now we're moving to the next step. We're cleaning the pallet fork and the balance. I'm using a product called Hair Dip and this special jar. You do not want to put those two in an ultrasonic bath. Apparently it kills it. And IPA, if you soak it long enough, will kill the shellac on the pallet fork and the balance. So I tried it manually, put it away, and now I'm doing the same thing with the balance. Taking the balance out very carefully, laying it flat, and manually drying it. So now I'm taking all the parts out of my foot dehydrator that I have purposely used as my parts dryer, and moving all the little parts into their appropriate trays. I'm still trying to figure out a good system for organizing my parts and everything else, especially the screws. What I find challenging is making sure that the right screw goes into the right place. So I'm still playing around with disassembly and then organizing, but I'm sure I'll figure out a system that works consistently for me in the long run. So now that the project is complete, I'll just give you the rundown. I started the night before, took some time to disassemble everything and sort it out into basically piles for my cleaning. And then on the second day, I proceeded with the cleaning of the parts, drying them. And then while everything was cleaning, I was cleaning the mainspring barrel and the mainspring, the balance, and the pallet fork. So here I am you can see me trying to figure out the jewels. There are 3 jewels that I need to put back together, specifically the tops, the caps for them, and then secure them back with the spring. So after they're cleaned, you pop, you oil it, you put the capstone back on, and you secure that cap with a little spring, which, let me tell you, are a pain in the butt. This is going to take me a very long time. Initially, I tried to use the radical to hold the end of that little spring to prevent it from moving around, and then using the other hand with tweezers to manipulate the spring into that little channel that holds it in place. As you will see in a moment, that idea was abandoned eventually, and I ended up using 2 pair of tweezers, one to hold the spring in place, and the second pair to maneuver the sides to put it into the grooves. So eventually I did manage to complete this task. There were 2 capstone and springs on the main plate, and then the third one was on the bridge that was holding the main train of wheels in place. And soon we'll see a picture of those things. With the power of editing, here we are. Here's that jewel I was telling you about. That was number 1. We're going to do the same thing for the jewel right above it. And here I will struggle for a bit. So I had to move the light down a little bit. I couldn't see anything. And now we're going to see the finished product. So jewel 1, that is the same one as on the plates holding the train of wheels. There we go. There's the train of wheels doing the last minute check, and everything was checking out okay. What I didn't show is putting back together the Achilles works, but that's pretty self-explanatory. It's in reverse order of disassembly. A couple of notes there. I used special grease on any metal pivot points. There's one little spring that you have to be careful with, otherwise it'll jump out and you'll never find it. And then after that, putting the dial back together, not forgetting that little washer between the main plate and the dial, securing the dial with dial screws that are located on the side of the plate. After that, putting the hour, minute, and second hands back together, putting the movement into the case, inserting the stem, and then finally putting the crystal on. And then after that, the back case lid was popped back in place, and the watch was put on a time grapher, as you could see up top. The initial readings were pretty good, at about 258 to 60, and that's pretty respectable given that this watch has been just serviced. We'll see how the oil settles over the next few days, maybe up to a week, and we'll see how it goes. Thanks very much for watching. We'll see you next time.